Witch versus Witch. About 40,000 years ago, the Eurasian steppe, the Witch of Corpses versus the Witch of the Instant. Episode 8. The sky lay heavy under thick gray haze, as though it still held the chaos of the beginning, and the parched wasteland screamed like the cracked hide of some enormous beast. Before humankind knew the sharpness of iron or the record of letters, in a brutal age of species replacing species for ownership of the earth, tens of thousands of tribal warriors gathered in this vast slaughterhouse. The dull noise of stone axes shattering skulls, the sound of bone knives parting tough hide, the shriek of flesh torn away, all of it filled the air. Each time the red sun sank below the horizon, the wasteland trembled with the raw smell of blood and the horrible grinding of broken bones. At the center of this pandemonium, above tens of thousands of corpses and pooled blood, a vast prison of bone rose up. Inside that grotesque cage, built from the ribs of dozens of great predators mixed with those of defeated warriors, was bound the last treasure of the age and the last man standing at the cliff edge of extinction, Urg, a Neanderthal. With a frame heavier than that of Homo sapiens, muscles swollen to bursting, and the fierce vitality of the world's first days, he was no ordinary man to the witches. He was the pure, original essence itself, the thing they had to seize to become the founder of a new species. Beast-like terror and primitive rage sat in his eyes, but before the transcendent power of the witches surrounding him, he was nothing more than a helpless offering. The first to take the ground was the Witch of Corpses. Each time she exhaled, her whole abdomen heaved like an enormous heart, sending a pulse through the earth. Wherever that pulse reached, the cooling bodies of warriors twitched and rose as if hypnotized. She was a predator who dismantled the bodies of dead men and reassembled them, moving them by her own will. When the red vibration that began at her feet soaked the ground, the soil was covered in an instant with a damp, clinging mass of flesh. The blood and flesh spilled by tens of thousands of warriors mixed into one, forming an immense carpet of bodies across the entire ground. It was no mere heap of corpses. Tens of thousands of arms and legs and twisted spines joined organically into a single writhing creature, an enormous stomach. Facing her, the Witch of the Instant quietly steadied her breath above that shuddering sea of flesh. Her aim was not to kill the Witch of Corpses. It was to snatch Urg from inside that vast cage of bone and escape this hell. Deep inside her chest a great beating began, like a drum. The faster her heart beat, the more her nervous system accelerated toward the speed of light, and the world before her eyes began to slow to a halt. Droplets of blood scattered in the air froze in place like red jewels, and the tens of thousands of flesh tendrils reaching to swallow her turned into statues that did not stir.